Welcome, guys. I am happy to be joined with Bulbastore. We are having a conversation with him tonight about a whole bunch of things. We're going to talk about your history with Pokemon, how that developed over time. We're going to talk about your business, some content stuff, and how that has all come together. First of all, what's your history with Pokemon? What's your superhero origin story with the Pokemon hobby? Give it to
Yeah,
us.
yeah, no problem. Appreciate you having me as well.
Yeah.
I'm sure I've said this before, but I guess I first started Pokemon like everyone else. I was a kid. I played the game. I never did, and I still don't know how to play the card game to the day.
Neither
So
do I.
I'm just a collector. But I got back into it when Chilling Reign came out. It was like I was down home from college, and me and my brother we went to a local. We actually went to like a Japanese store, but like right next to it was a card store. We're like, oh, we haven't been to one of these in like years. So we went inside. Chilling Reign was out, and then we try to like when we buy a pack, we try or like when we buy a set, we try to find like, oh, what's the hit we're going like what's the
Hmm.
most expensive card we can go. So I looked it up. I was like, Blaziken VMAX. Okay, clicked on it. I was like, whoa, didn't even know they made cards like that because like, this was my first time seeing an alt art. I'm used to like, the OG cards where like the
Yeah.
regular holo is the hit. So I was like, oh damn, this is like absolutely insane. And Blaziken, I really like Blaziken. I grew up playing Sapphire, so Blaziken was my favorite from that game, starter. I was like, oh dude, we got to get this. So we opened a bunch of boxes. Well, maybe I don't know, like two or three or so. Didn't get anything. I think the best thing we got was Galarian Rapidash, which was like $20 or
Okay.
something at the time. So we're like, oh my god! But then I was like, oh, this is pretty cool. Started buying more cards and just I started my small little collection and started from there throughout college. I used to buy and sell Yu-Gi-Oh cards when I was a kid. That was like one of my first side hustles. So
Okay.
I kind of knew buying and selling cards, and you just gotta take some time to learn Pokemon.
Yeah.
So over the months, I'd just be scouring, buying stuff, and slowly build up my collection, sell some, and then build some more, that kind of thing. It was mainly collecting at the beginning, and then eventually I was like, "Oh, I don't want this card, let me sell it. And then I was like, oh, it's worth more than I bought it for, stuff like that.
Yeah.
Because I'd always try to get deals regardless. But
Yeah.
yeah,
That
that's
makes
kind of how
sense.
it started, and it kind of snowballed into what
Okay.
it is today.
Yeah, to the craziness it is today. So do you have any like memories that stick out from when you were a kid, like collecting or opening a pack or anything
Uh,
that you can share?
only like I don't think it has anything to do with cards technically, but I'll share anyways. I remember I didn't even know what Pokemon was. I had no idea what Pokemon was. And the very, very first interaction I had with it, I was at like a daycare or something, like a summer camp with kids, and all the kids were like playing video games. And then this one guy let me play his Game Boy, and it had Leaf Green on it, so
Mm.
that's my first game. Um, but I remember he let me play, and I was on the boat, and he had Charmander, and after you beat Blue or whatever, after you beat your rival, I'm pretty sure Charmander learned Smokescreen, or like at the time he learned Smokescreen, and I had no idea what I was doing, but I erased his Ember for
Oh
Smokescreen.
no.
So
Oh
looking back, I
no.
was like, oh, that's pretty funny because I guess that was like his first thing. But
Yeah.
I remember he was like super mad at me. I had no idea what I did because he had to like, because I was like saving and everything. So he had to like completely start over.
Oh
Uh,
geez.
but that was the first memory. That was the first time I played Pokemon. I guess that was kind of like the origin story. I actually don't have any because again, this was like kindergarten when I had the cards, and I didn't know what I was doing. I played the game, and I was like, oh, that's cool. And I bought the cards, but I was just kind of like,
So when you were growing up, were you more into the Yu-Gi-Oh stuff then? Or was
yeah,
that
yeah.
more of
So
like
I was
okay.
more into. I played Yu-Gi-Oh with my friends from in like kindergarten. I would play with like middle schoolers and stuff. I
Oh
was actually
nice.
it was weird. Like we had like a daycare, and then at the daycare, I was, I think I was, yeah, I was in kindergarten, and I was hanging out with. We had a group of friends. It was a fourth grader, a fifth grader, a sixth grader, a seventh. It was a one of each grade from fourth
Yeah.
to eighth grade, and we all had the exact same interest. It was Pokemon, Legos, or like Legos, Bionicles, and like Beyblades. And
Oh nice.
we would all bring our stuff. We'd play. So I grew up playing Yu-Gi-Oh, and then when I went to school, like I moved schools to like elementary after kindergarten. We all played Yu-Gi-Oh. So I grew up playing Yu-Gi-Oh! And that was one of my first side hustles. I used to buy and sell Yu-Gi-Oh cards from my local market, and I would come to school and then sell the cards. I'd make a lot of money, but at the time, I would blow all my money opening more packs and stuff. So
Yeah,
I would
of
make a lot of
course.
money, but I didn't keep anything because I decided to open a bunch of stuff.
Yeah. Did you ever play in any tournaments or anything growing up, or was it
Yeah.
mostly just no,
Yeah,
just for
all for
fun?
fun. To be fair, I'm pretty sure we didn't even play by the real rules. I know now there's like phase one, main phase two. It was just, hey man, I attack, set some traps, your
Yeah.
turn. That was it. There was no like phase, do,
Yeah.
whatever. And I remember there was
Okay.
this one kid, like, I don't know, do you know a little about Yu-Gi-Oh too?
I don't know a lot, no, but
Oh, okay, okay.
yeah.
Yeah, there was so just a quick there's like Mystical Space Typhoon, it like destroys a card, but it's supposed to be like face down kind of, but we
Okay.
would use it to like negate the card and we didn't really care about the difference. But
Yeah.
I remember my friend was like, technically it doesn't negate it, it just destroys it. And I was like, what the heck? It's destroyed, bro. It was a fun time, but it was never any serious.
Yeah.
So I technically really didn't play real Yu-Gi-Oh either. We just played the for fun, I guess.
Well, that's cool. That's awesome. I briefly collected Yu-Gi-Oh cards, but I never got into really playing it. I basically went from Pokemon to sports, and then
Ah,
because my dad was really into football, so we would just collect every Vikings player because we're from Minnesota, and so we did
yes.
we did the sports thing until I got back similar to you around the Vivid Voltage when that came out.
Mm.
Very similar in terms of the origin story goes. I think a lot of us have similar origin stories nowadays.
Actually, now that you bring it up, one more memory was I remember during COVID, I was still doing Yu-Gi-Oh! And at the time, Yu-Gi-Oh! You could like buy packs and like make money. So I
Mm.
assumed you could do the same with Pokemon,
Uh,
which now is like, I remember like the Pikachu V Max from Vivid Voltage was like $600 in a PSA 10. And
yeah,
then the Rainbow Charizard from Champion's Path was also like
it
$600.
was up there.
Like
Yeah,
these are also super crazy cards. Like they're so dope. Like imagine if I could have them displayed or whatever. And I was like, if I could invest, I would buy 10 of them right now. Now they're worth like 200, 250 bucks.
yeah, yeah,
I remember like those cards were also that's why I like rainbow cards and most people don't. Like I mean it's just not a popular
yeah.
type of card rarity, I guess. But I like them, and that's those two are also kind of like what I was like. Oh yeah, these are cool cards. They are really cool.
I agree. I like rainbow cards too. And similar deal when the Pikachu was going crazy and Vivid Voltage had just come out. I decided it would be a good idea to buy a case because you get two amazing rares, and the amazing rares at the time were going for over $100 in a 10. Well, I sent all my hits to CGC. They got destroyed, and all that stuff that came back. I don't know. I'm sure I didn't break even. I don't know how much money I ended up losing on all that, but
Yeah.
it was a interesting experiment and something I will never do again. When did the collecting turn into like when did you realize that you could make money with Pokemon, and how did that turn into kind of this business venture you have now?
Good question. Well, I mean, like, it wasn't like a moment. It was kind of like, I mean, the whole business or like idea behind like Pokemon as a business, at least for what there's a big difference between what I do and then like a brick and mortar selling
Mm,
new product or like someone selling Japanese product or anything like my thing is selling like slabs, and at the time singles and stuff too, or sealed. So the real business model is you're just making a percentage on your capital. So like if you have a $10,000 inventory, you're gonna make a lot more percent because all your deals are just percentage based. So you're gonna make a lot
mm,
more money if you have 10,000. You're gonna like a lot more if you have 100,000
yeah,
than if you have 1,000 or 500 or 2,000. So it was more so like I slowly would amass. I started off literally zero, and then eventually I buy some cards, and I think there was a lot of luck involved too. So like when I started, I was really into the Latios tag teams. I really liked early on the ponchos,
mm,
um, just a lot of stuff that I guess I had a good eye for. I collected a lot of, and those shot up in value. Like I had my
yeah,
Poncho 10 set. I had pages of Latios because that was my favorite card. And it was like less than $100. I would get it for less than $100. The ponchos were like less than 1,000, and eventually
yeah,
they all shot up. So I got lucky in the sense that like I got insane value kind of off the bat. Not off the bat, but you know what I mean. Like my collection It's like, whoa, is this normal to get all this increase in value from your cards? So I was lucky in that, and then eventually, I mean, I started my because of that like insane growth, my inventory was like a lot bigger.
Hmm.
So I did my first show. Oh, well, no. Let me rewind it back. I was like, oh, dude, you know what? You know what would be crazy? I did everything online too. Everything was online. I would just join, Facebook, and just all kinds of online groups. There'd be local groups too. I'm from Houston, so pretty big scene here in Texas. um, Finding deals, selling deals, and then you make your money. I was
Yeah.
like, it would be wild. I've heard of card shows, but I was like, does any happen? And I remember like there wasn't any happening for a while. This was towards the tail end of the year, like kind of like right now.
Mm.
Yeah, because I started like Chilling Rain, and then I was kind of by so towards like a couple months later, I was like, oh, what kind of shows are there? And I remember it should have been 2022, yeah, or was it last year? Sorry, I forgot. But anyways, there was a show. The first show I did as a seller was a local show, and my inventory. I have a picture of it somewhere, but my inventory wasn't crazy. Like I
Yeah.
had and maybe a couple of $1,000s in slabs. That was it. And it went really well. Like I had a lot of fun. So that kind of transitioned to me like and then after while I was in college, I had my again I was doing all this during college. I got my real estate license,
Mm.
graduated, and I was a realtor locally for like I mean technically a year because I had my license for a year. But like I
Gotcha.
really only went hard, sold a couple homes in the first 2 months. Then I was like, I mean I had, and I was still doing Pokemon on the side, and the Pokemon was still making more money, and I was doing like really good as a
Yeah.
realtor, selling a couple homes, and a couple months at the time was like pretty. It was like on the downtrend of the market, so it was like getting harder. So I was like, oh yeah, but I was making more, or like like time wise, I was making a good amount doing the Pokemon. So I was like, well, I could just probably put in more time doing, and I enjoy it a lot more than selling homes.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
so I figured at the time. I could just stop real estate. I'm doing good enough. Now it's not crazy. My goal was uh, my goals aren't like crazy. My goal is to make 50K for my first year, just selling Pokemon cards. I was like, hey, that's a livable wage.
Yeah.
I'm not a I'm a pretty basic guy, so I don't spend a lot. I don't go out. I don't really spend a lot of money. So like 50K would go a long, long way. So that was my goal, and I was like, just trying to hit that middle goal. And I was like doing the math for my first show. I was like, yeah, you can do this combined with online. You keep it growing, and they compound upon itself.
Yeah. Yeah.
Uh, I was like, yeah, we can do this. So I just ended up doing the shows, scouting out like the new collecticons, the bigger ones, because the one I did was smaller. And I was like, yeah, you do bigger shows, you do more shows, you grow. Like, oh, this will work out. Like, I could probably do this. And I have the safety net of like, I mean, I'm fairly young, and I don't have many. Like, I don't have kids, or I don't have many responsibilities. So it's worth the risk for me. If it ever fails, then I could always go do something later.
During that first show, was it a TCG show or was it like a bunch of
Yeah, it
sports
was.
guys and it was you?
No, it was a TCG show. It was
Okay.
a local in Houston. It was called TCG Con. I don't
Oh,
think
okay.
I think they went bankrupt now, but it was their first show ever.
Oh,
Um,
wow. Okay.
so yeah, it was local, and I was like, oh yeah, let me do it. I had one table there, um, and I actually had. I'm a very entrepreneurial person, so I always like I've done so many business ventures. One of them, oh, as you see right now in the background, like the slab displays.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, originally they were made out of acrylic, because I have like a CNC machine and stuff. So
Mm.
at the show, I actually went as Slab Lab Displays. That was like my name, and I was selling the displays. But I happened to just bring my card shows because to show what it looked like, and then if they wanted to buy the cards, I would sell it there. But I technically first my plan was to be the display. I was gonna be like make displays and sell them and stuff, and then kind of flip flop. But it was a TCG show, so
Did
I was
that
trying
did
trying to
that
get.
flop happen at the show? Like, was there just a ton of interest in the actual cards, or did you continue with the?
No, it didn't flip flop at the show. It flipped because they're not like mutually exclusive. Like
Yeah, yeah.
like I still do both, right? Um, it just eventually, I was like, if I want to travel, I can't travel with the displays.
A
I
bunch of
just can't.
displays.
Like,
Yeah,
yeah, and then I was like, well, and I knew off the dome I wanted to do YouTube videos. I was like,
mm.
no one's doing like this. I was a big fan of Pawn Stars growing up too.
Yeah, yeah,
So no one's doing like this Pawn Starsy kind of buying, selling, entertainment. Um, so I remember doing like research and all that, and there was actually a few guys that were doing it, but they weren't doing it like consistently. They weren't doing it. It wasn't a very popular thing at all.
yeah,
So I took it upon myself. I was like, I can do this. I can do it. I can do it more often, probably better, with like more unique inventory, I guess. Um, so I kind of I needed a brand, and I was like, oh, what's my favorite Pokemon? Bulbasaur, or yeah. So my favorite Pokemon Bulbasaur, and I was like, what do I need a name? Like, oh, what can I do? Like, Bulba. My original name, I was between Bulba, the Bulbastore, or the Bulba Core, like
okay,
like core cadets or something. But I
yeah,
was
yeah,
like, people would probably not get the like people would be like core like CORE. They'd be like, oh, that doesn't make sense. Or core, they'd be like, is it like Army Core? Is it like Corporation Core? I was
yeah,
like, well, I kind of like the Bulbasaur anyways.
yeah.
So that's why I kind of rocked with that. It was just a catchy name with my favorite Pokemon, and that's how I was like, all right, so this is my new thing. So that's when it flip flopped. Because now I still sell the displays. I do that on the side. I just make them
Yeah.
at home. So and then when I go to the shows, I bring my slabs.
So when you do local shows to you, do you set up a booth for the displays as well as the slabs, or is it mostly just
I used
Pokemon at this
to,
point?
but not anymore. Just because like now I just bring more slabs. It makes more sense for me to just bring more slabs because
Yeah,
all the displays I can just sell them online. There's no need for me to
that makes
bring.
sense.
And I hate setting up. To be fair, like local shows is harder to set up just because you have to set up extra tables, extra shelves. You have to bring sealed, which I don't normally do. That extra trips. You got to drive like because Houston's like a huge ass city with like a bunch of traffic, so you got to drive like 40 minutes because we're on the outskirts. As
Yeah,
opposed to you're at the hotel, you walk down with your case and you put it in the thing,
yeah.
you're done. So it's a lot more setup, and on top of bring displays. No. Now, to be fair, maybe in the future, like next year, who knows? I had a whole section and then do it. That was if I was like a bigger company. This is more of like a what is it a work of love or whatever you call it, like a for
Yeah,
fun,
yeah,
like not like I can sell as much as I want from home. It's not a big deal if I sell a lot at the shows. I'll be doing all the
yeah.
content and stuff now. So
I've set up at a lot of comic shows and watching all the vendors drag in box after box of
oh
comics.
yeah,
And I just have like one bin, I just pull in, I got two tables, set it up, and it's
yeah,
just like done. And then you just, yeah, it's
that's a lot.
pretty awesome doing cards and not stuff that's more intrusive or larger. What was like the turning point for you at cons where you figured out that you needed to kind of streamline the crowds around your booth? Because now most of the time at collecticons and stuff, I mean, you basically have a line set up now because there's so many people that want to stop in and trade or buy or be in content or buy a shirt. Or like when was that process, or did it just
Yeah,
happen one show? It was like, man,
it
we need
just
to figure something out.
it was Orlando Collecticon. That was the first one, and it was out of nowhere. I don't remember any. It was nothing like that. It was I was like overwhelmed. I've had like lines, but it might be like six people, eight people. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
a little line. That I don't remember when that started. But like Orlando was absolutely insane. People, I remember still it was like it was wrapped around the booth and I couldn't see where it ended. Like it was just and it just kept on going. And I remember like some people were doing really big deals, like they wanted to sell their entire collection, and some people wanted to sell, do trade and all. So it takes a long time because I'm doing it one by one.
yeah,
And I remember talking to some people. They're like, dude, we waited an hour and a half to see you. I said, seriously? You waited an hour and a half to go and just wait in line. So that was the very first one. Now, to be fair, and then I mean, since then it's been really just the collecticons where it's crazy with the
Mm,
lines, like Chicago. Ooh, crazy.
yeah.
I get complaints from other vendors. They're like, "Can you move your line? You're blocking our booth."
Mm.
I'm like, I don't know where you want me to put them. Like, I move them like, can y'all go this way? And then the other people are like, hey, can you move your line? I'm like, someone's gonna get,
Yeah.
some kind of line. And in my opinion, I always think it's good to have the line because you get guaranteed people like are just waiting there and they gotta look at your stuff. Like I had a Darren, his name is Darren, but he got the table right next to me in Chicago. He sold out all his big stuff because people bought it while they were waiting in line for me. And
Yeah.
he was like, "Yeah, I'm gonna go walk for all day too," because he sold his big stuff. I was like, "Yeah, like, so like I don't know. I guess like some people don't appreciate, but like everyone, there's people that are like, please let me like go next to you. Like I have people that want to vend with me next year because they want to be, they want that line there. They want
Yeah.
I guess, the clout being in the same section.
I was at Card Party this year, and that seemed like a pretty awesome setup that you were
Oh,
kind
yeah,
of
Card
out in the
Party was
hallway.
unique because that
Yeah.
one, I asked them too, because that was right after Orlando. I wasn't used to that
Oh,
Giga line.
okay. Yeah.
So I was like, as soon as Orlando ended, it was like 2 weeks after Orlando, maybe. I was like, hey, I think I'm gonna need a change because I was my Card Party spot. I had one table in the middle. I was like, dude, I'm gonna need more than one table in between a bunch of people. Like they're gonna get so mad
Yeah.
or something like that. Because I was just like, I'm not dealing with that again. So they actually had that open spot, and we were able to work a deal for that. So very cool. And then it was like a unique spot because it wasn't technically in the vendor hall, so I could set up whenever, and I could have stayed there the whole, like after they closed the vendor hall, I could still
Yeah.
stay there because and I did. I was still there while people were doing the show and we were doing the thing.
Yeah.
And then trade night, I let people use my cases and my table for the thing. So if I wanted to do trade night there as well, I could have been going for like 13 hours.
Yeah.
But we don't. I usually at the shows I don't eat because it's like so busy. There's no time. So
Oh,
usually
yeah.
just
That would be
don't eat
tough.
during the show, and then I'm starving at the end. So then I go eat.
Is it difficult because like there's so many people there, but they're there to see you as well as to buy or sell or something like that. So even if you hired like more
Yeah,
staff at a section, it wouldn't necessarily work because they're not having that one-to-one interaction that they want with you. They're having it with someone on your staff.
it's like I am the brand, which makes sense. I mean, no one else is the brand, but it's that's like a that's like everyone's thing though. Like right, if any I guess well-known person like you want to do the deal. Like if I went to Pawn Stars, I want to do it with the stars of Pawn Stars. I don't want to do it with some random guy at the, you know what I mean?
Right.
So there, yeah, lots of people. Like I have my brother, like my family helps a lot at the shows. So
Hmm.
like if either Michelle or Davin, my brother, is like doing a deal, they'll be like they'll buy it, but then they'll wait. They'll be like, okay, here's the money and stuff, but can we wait to do the deal with them? And I was like, oh
Mm.
sure. So like they for sure want to do the deal, and I mean of course. Um, so but that's why it's hard to kind of scale. People are like, oh, you should like, are you hiring? I don't know what I would have them do because I know most people are there to do the deal specifically with me.
How big is your operation? Like, do you have employees or people that work with you, or just people that help you at shows, like your family, like you mentioned?
Yeah, so my recently I used to like the first time I flew to Kansas City by myself. I did everything on my own. I recorded, brought the shirts, I did the shirts, I did the thing. Now, to be fair, that was my first video, so no one knew who I was. No one knew. Anyway, so it was not like it was hectic or anything, but it's definitely it's doable. I mean, to be fair, it wasn't even that hard, especially if you rented like I built cases, like wooden cases, so
Mm.
that I could ship them with me and I could bring it. But like I was so cheap back then. Like Zion, the if you wanted to rent the case, I was like, oh God, no, I could just build them, and then you save yourself $200 a show. It's worth it because I mean, I don't know, it costs like under 100 to build it myself, and then it's free to ship with the Southwest thingy. So it's just like it's nice being able to bring people, and eventually once I started doing better. My mom, I have the companion pass now with Southwest, so someone gets to fly with me for free. So at
Oh,
the
cool.
beginning it was Michelle, but she can't go to all of them, so then I flip flop to my mom. And then very, very recently, Davin, my brother, is I also I just he's like an employee, but I just pay for him to come. He gets like a free vacay, and
Yeah.
then he goes around. We get out because I go around and walk and buy stuff. So he's like my video camera guy now.
Okay.
So now it's growing a little bit, but nothing. I don't like at home. I do all the packing myself. I do all the buy. I like you respond to any website. That's me. I run everything.
Yeah,
So
I
yeah.
was I was curious because we talked just a tiny bit before this, but you said you're probably doing like somewhere around 30 some shows this next year. And with that amount of time that you're going to be doing all that stuff, like who's sourcing? Or do you do all the sourcing? Is sourcing mostly at shows on like collections you buy there, or are you sourcing off of different websites and grading stuff yourself? How does the sourcing work with everything that you have to have available at all these shows that you're doing?
Yeah, so the shows are pretty much, I would say, 75% of the sourcing themselves. Like
Okay.
I probably buy more than I sell at the shows. Um, so I source a lot at the shows, and again, like I go around. Sometimes I'll buy, very rarely, but like I might buy like a big lot of slabs from a vendor who's willing to sell at 80% for like a
Hmm.
bunch of good ones. So I'll buy it from there. Or and then very, very rarely, I usually people DM me on Instagram, they email me all the time, stuff like pretty much, every other day or so. I'll get emails like, oh, I want to sell you this, this, this. And then I either, most of the time I probably don't buy it. But if I do, then I do. So I always get I don't have to really source anymore like I used to. Before I would find deals locally. I would scour Facebook, refresh. I would go on the group, see what are the deals, go look at old posts and try and offer them, see if they're still interested in selling, all kinds of stuff. So I feel like if you're new, definitely, but now at this point of where I'm at, I don't really need to do the sourcing on my own. And every blue moon, I'll get a massive collection that's like um, 50K, 20K, 30K, and that'll last me,
Yeah, a
a
long
good
time.
amount of shows. Like well, right now I try to sell as much as I can because I don't have shows for like 3 months, and then I still have more than I can even bring to the shows. So it's kind of just I have like a stockpile, I guess, of inventory. So I don't think I'll ever run out, and if I do, then I could just go out and probably buy some more with all that.
I follow you on Instagram, and you occasionally will do like a story sale where you'll try and move some slabs and stuff after a show, maybe or something like that. What would be like the percentage you would say of like the sales at shows, sales online, sales? Would
Tiny,
you like a
tiny.
rough breakdown?
It's maybe not even 10%, like 5% of what I sell. Because when I sell on Instagram, usually it's like after a show, and that's just because I'm lazy. Like everything's already priced, and it's
Yeah,
like
that
it's
yeah.
probably not going to
Just take
change that
photos
much.
and yeah.
Like I was supposed to do one when I came back from Houston, but I was just so busy with all the other show extra stuff, and so I didn't have time for that. So if I do it, but again, I don't have any shows until next year, so I might sometime maybe next week or the week after that. Whenever I have time, I'll go because prices change so much. Then I'll go reprice everything, and it takes a long time. I spent like 5 hours repricing all this because it's a lot of inventory.
Yeah, you got a lot of
Oh,
stuff. Yeah.
yeah, it'll take a many hours. But yeah, it's like 5% because one, not everyone that is a YouTube subscriber or whatever, not everyone follows me on Instagram, and then two, I only take Zelle, so
Mm.
maybe 20% of the people that want to buy from me have Zelle or want to use Zelle or whatever. So yeah, it's like a small percentage. Now, I'll sell a good amount. Like I usually sell it too if like I have an excess of inventory. It's like I
Hmm.
can't even bring all this to the show, so let me try and sell. So I will try and sell as much as I can. And again, you can only see it for 24 hours too on the story. So that
Yeah,
even
yeah.
makes it harder for you to see it. It's not even close. That's more of like a not like a novelty sale kind of like, hey, you want to buy something every blue moon? Here's what I got,
Yeah.
and that's it. But yeah, it's mainly because it's been like next year. again 3 shows every month. I'm not gonna have time to do online. I want to
Yeah.
be whatever I sell there. I'm just gonna sell next week. Whatever doesn't sell at one show, it'll be at next week's show. If it doesn't sell there, it'll be at the show right after.
Yeah.
And then 1 week break, and this will be there again. So
Yeah.
uh, plenty of time to sell. And for me, there's no rush. I would say earlier on, the capital, you want to sell as much to get your capital back to buy more. But at this point, the capital doesn't even it's not even the capital. It's I want to buy more stuff. The problem is buying inventory because I could sell all day if I wanted to.
Yeah.
It's buying stuff at a good deal, where or buying something where you can make money on it at least. That's
Yeah.
kind of the harder part of where I'm at now. So it's not. I'm trying to get the most out of my inventory instead of just trying to sell it all and make less money, but get it faster to burn into more. Because yeah, it's just I feel like there's stages in vendors on where you go. That's why some vendors give better deals than others. And to be fair, I'm not one of the ones that give the best deals.
So as we kind of move into the content side of the conversation, as your YouTube and all your socials and everything have just blown up over the last couple of years, is there more of a 1 year?
Been doing
Okay.
it for 1 year.
Are the shows more or less about selling nowadays? Is it more about content or is it more about the actual sale? Has that shifted over time as you've grown in popularity?
Yeah, that's a great question. You know what? I think it has. To be fair, a lot of the times I will do deals because I need content. Like I'll tell people I will pay more than I normally do, or pay trade more than I normally do, buy something I don't just for like to make it more. I do need more content. Well, hold on, I take it back. I don't need more content. It's actually crazy how much the content's compared to the first. Like if you watch my first videos, I might do a few deals that are like stretched out. Now I do so many deals, like I can't even keep it all. There's like multiple parts
Mm,
to the thingies, so I don't need more deals per se. But I try, um, like I might pay 90% for a insane card. That way I can use it for a thumbnail.
mm,
Then if I make my money back, if I make money on it, great. If I make money, sure. I just really wanted a thumbnail for it. So yeah, it definitely has shifted it. Because I try to put myself in the feet of, or like put myself in the view of people watching. Like they can only watch me buy and sell, you know, Moonbryon for so many times, right? But like if I do Crystal Charizard 10, Gold Star Rayquaza 10, like these crazy cards most people don't see, then I'll probably for the content I'll do that. Or like coin flips. I don't normally do like for the coin flips. That was kind of a thing that I did this year too. And I will do it kind of for content, but like those zero for nothing, like double or nothing coin flips, I don't normally take those. But for the content, that's another thing. Like I'll do it. Like that's probably like, oh, people watching be like, that's crazy. He just did double or nothing, and it is. That's why I don't like that much risk.
yeah.
But I will do it for the content. So yes, definitely. That was a great question. No one ever asked me that before, but I definitely do change the. It has changed because of the content, and I think for the better though. Like it opens up instead of being like a strict margin guy. Then it's like, oh, it lets me play around, and it opens more opportunities. Like for the poncho video I did that for content, and I didn't expect. I've done it before. I've opened tons of poncho boxes unrecorded, and they've came back 9.95. Like I would lose money on it or like not make anything,
Yeah.
but I was like, I can do it again because I get a good deal on it, and then like just for content. So definitely a lot of decisions now are content. Honestly, content in the forefront for
Okay.
bigger deals at least. If I'm buying like a $50 card, it's not like, oh, I'm buying it for the content.
Yeah.
But for the big cards, yeah,
Yeah, for my
big
side
deal.
business and stuff, I still do like, graded return videos and stuff like that. And a lot of times I'm buying the same cards because, they have the same margin. So it's like I'll buy 5 of these Charizards and 10 of these Charizards and whatever. And it's like, am I really gonna make the third, PSA return that has the exact same set of cards in it? Same here. I'll be like, oh, maybe I'll buy some mid-era this time. That'll kind of spice up instead of just buying ultra modern for everything. So yeah, I totally feel you there. The variety. People like the variety, or else they just get bored with stuff. Was there like one video or one short or one thing that just super popped off, and then like from then on it was just like I'm leaning hard into this now because
I was. all in from the beginning because
Mm,
like my and I tell people this now, like or people that ask me like, oh, how do you start? It's like if you're gonna be a vendor, you're doing it anyways, so you might as well
yeah.
record yourself doing it. The only extra is I guess like the editing, but that was my thing. So like I'm doing it anyways. So I didn't expect it to. I don't, you know, I don't. I didn't expect to be where I am today. I didn't expect. I wasn't like, dude, this is gonna blow up. It was more for fun. I mean, there's all kinds of pros and cons, or there's no cons other than the time. There's all kinds of pros of recording yourself. You gotta learn negotiating. It's like a theft deterrent. You can go back, remember. It's like pretty much record keeping of all the deals you did too.
Yeah.
Um, so I definitely was already all in. Like I was like, I'm gonna do this, whether it's 100 views. Well, 100 views would be kind of kind of disappointing, but like
Hmm.
if it was like 1,000 views or something, and I would still post it just for it's kind of like my own little vlog journal journey thing. But I will say, uh, I remember I had like 1,000 subscribers. I took a picture, and me and Michelle were like, "Oh, it's so cool! Like people like to see this stuff." And then there was one video. It was the Denver Collecticon. For some reason, don't know why. That one, and that was like my third video, I think, fourth video maybe, that I posted. But that one did really, really well. So my other videos got, I don't really remember at the time, maybe a couple thousand views. But then I remember the Denver one, like super skyrocketed. Well, like it went to like 10K views
Mm, yeah.
over like a month or something. And for a while, for like a 6 month period or whatever, that was like my most viewed of all time. So that one really shot up. And I think it was I don't know, that video. I remember if you typed in Collecticon, my video popped up like up there. Like I would go on incognito to see like, oh, if I was just a random person, I type in
Yeah.
Collecticon, my videos were like popping up as some of the most viewed non-shorts, I guess, videos. I was like, oh, that's cool. Like, I'm like, oh, you search for Collecticon, that's me. So, because I feel at the beginning, no one knows what a vendor. I came up vendor POV, just kind of just like, oh, what should I name this? So no one's looking up vendor POV at the time. No one's looking up Pokemon card show sellers. I'm pretty sure everyone was just looking at Collecticon. Because if you at my old videos, you would have no idea what I'm doing because no one else is doing that kind of main like content.
Yeah.
So I think at the beginning people were just looking up Collecticon, and it helped that I was up there.
Yeah.
Um, so that Denver video, I've never had like honestly like every content creator I know, like Coop's collection, insane virality with his shorts. I think he's
Yeah.
almost
His
at like
shorts are wild.
million. It's pretty cool. Like he went super viral. Pack Battle Eric, um, he went viral. He had stuff that went really viral. Um, Jar Chomp, I think, had some viral clips in there. Just like everyone had like super viral clips on YouTube. I've never had a viral YouTube clip. I don't think I have any shorts over a million. Um, to be fair, I haven't uploaded shorts in like, well, I did one like this week, but before that, like 6 months. I really need to step up my game on those because I know that's definitely how you grow. Um, but so mine has always been a steady growth line. There was no spikes. Actually, you know what? Over here, let me check. I'm pretty sure there's not any spikes in subscribers in the past year. It's just been let's see, 365. Yeah, no, there's no spikes. The most subscribers I've ever gotten in one day was 700, and that was one time. The second peak is 400. So it's just been a consistent rise for
That's
my
good.
career. No
That's good
virality.
though. Yeah.
Oh, but I want that 100K plaque so bad. That's what I'm working to. I really want that plaque.
You'll get it soon enough, I'm sure. I'm sure. Do you do all the video editing yourself for all your videos?
I do self-taught too. I bought a Mac. I've never used a Mac in my life. The Mac OS, still learning it to this day. I really just use it for basic stuff. The main reason I bought it was because you don't have to pay for editing software. Well, you do, like it's a one-time thing.
Mm,
Whereas if you use like Adobe or something, it's like $100 a month. Like it's
yeah,
crazy.
yeah,
Like it's a
yeah.
big old subscription. So I was like, let me just buy this laptop. And at the time, like, oh, Mac's really good, blah blah blah. I was like, all right, Mac's the M2 chip. I got the M2, so I was like, oh yeah, this is the new thing. The battery life is actually crazy. It's like a whole day. But I bought it. I learned how to edit, and that's why that's why I know, like, if did the exact same thing today, I wouldn't be like start all over. I would not be anywhere close. It was all luck, to be very fair, because my editing is not. I'm a very novice editor. It's all jump cuts. I have no transitions to this day. It just it pops up. Boop. I
Yeah.
type in the subtitles. I type it in by hand because like the auto ones don't really work. So it's really not hard work. It's just a lot of tedious work. That's why it takes
Yeah.
so long. I used to be able to edit a video in like a day because I didn't have one. They were a lot shorter. I think my first couple of videos were like 15 minutes, 20 minutes at tops, and it might have had like six deals that were each like 30 minutes, not 30, 3 minutes long. And I just leave a lot of space in there. Now I got all 8 hours. I did trades and deals the entire time.
Yeah.
Um,
So you got to go
so
through every one
I
to
got to go
see
through every
which.
single
Yeah.
one. I got to see the thing. I add the pictures now. I do the subtitles. And I got to do it all myself. If I do back-to-back shows, I fly on Thursday, come back Monday. I got what, 2 days jet lagged. Maybe I got some orders I need to ship out. Someday I need to go pick up. Like there's not that much time to juggle it all. Kind of that's why I kind of have now to work on them as well as my brother to help me edit video. Oh well, I didn't touch on that. I did hire my brother now. He's helping me. So if you watch my buyer POVs,
Hmm.
those are actually edited. There's like this next one that's coming this week. It's got like good edit. He's a way better the editor than me. So it's
Well,
got
that'll be
like
helpful then.
yeah, sound effects. So it's a nice weight off my shoulders. And then he should be doing the shorts for me too soon. Like oh yeah, the one short I did post was his short. So he's a lot better of an editor. So that's a good thing, better of editor. So hopefully we get that rolling.
Okay.
A lot of the weight off, and then I can focus more on doing fun videos, I guess.
Yeah.
Extra videos. Because I have tons of video ideas in here. One, people have been asking me for like seller's guide. I was supposed to get that out in like March. But here we are. So I really wanted to get that done. Now I can since I don't have as much of a time crunch. Because I really do feel bad when I only get a post like once a month. People are like, dude, it's been 4 weeks since your last video. I was like, I only get to work on it like
Yeah.
1 or 2 days out of the week. I had 4 shows in a row, guys. Like I do a lot of shows. That's why I'm like 10 shows behind right now because I do a lot, but I don't have anyone to also edit for me too. And it's a
Gotcha.
very unique video to edit because not you
And
can't
time
just
consuming. Yeah.
yeah, it's super time, so it'd be very expensive if I had to hire someone. So it's a definitely unique
Yeah.
uh, road to traverse.
So going back, I guess a little bit, what was like the influence for you to want to start doing content? Because you started with vendor POV content, right? You didn't
Yeah,
make like any of the normal Pokemon like
that was
openings or anything like that prior to
a lot
starting.
of.
So what
But
was the drive to want to just go right into that style of content? I know you said you saw a couple people were doing it, but it was fairly niche at the time.
yeah, the person I want Trading Card Empire, he did it. It was a little different. He had a cameraman and he would like show his deals. I was like, oh, this is cool. But I knew at the time I couldn't have a cameraman. That's why I bought my 360 camera at the time so I could record everything and then I would have to like put it on myself. Um, but it kind of just again I've always wanted to be I had video game YouTube channels.
Mm,
I used to stream on Twitch in college, like playing video. Like I think content creation is like a fun thing, and to be fair, it's a great way. It's like there's like a light at the end of the tunnel. Like there's always something you can strive for it. There's no like cap, I guess. Like you hit 100,000, you can go to 200,000.
yeah.
It's like unlimited potential, really. I always think that's really cool. And I mean, I grew up. What's your dream job? Oh, I want to be a YouTuber. So it's like this is my before. I'm really good in. I was really like into like the real estate. So I was really good with investing in properties. So I was gonna do a YouTube channel for that, like how to invest in real estate and all that stuff, or like how to buy homes when you're really young. Um, So I always knew I wanted to do content in whatever I was gonna, kind of pursue. So I knew this was my creative outlet, um, in a way for doing that. So, um, like that was just, well, was that the all your question? Was there a
Yeah.
second part of your
Yeah.
question?
No, you're good. And you said you really liked Pawn Stars at the time. I was a big American Pickers, Pawn
Yeah,
Stars.
American Pickers,
I
Pawn Stars. I grew up
Yeah,
on stuff. I watched like
Storage
sometimes
Wars.
all the History Channel stuff. I watched that
Yeah.
on TV when I was a kid. So I've always been very like, oh, that's so entertaining. Buy and sell. Like, oh, you can get that money. You buy the car, fix it up, you sell it up, or you buy a cool gold coin, you sell it. So I've always liked buying and selling and stuff.
So for vendor POV content,
Mhm.
what do you think made it blow up so much? Do you have an idea since you were kind
I
of there
think
in the
it's I think
beginning? Like what
it's because
about it?
I think it's just because it's new. Like there is no the again, I try to put myself in the viewer's shoes, and I'm not a very like to this day, people ask like, "Oh, do you know?" I'm very new to the Pokemon community, so I don't know many people. I don't really watch too much content. Like, there's only so much. To me, rip and ships are like they're cool, but like you can only open so many first edition base set booster boxes. I mean, those are always nice and all, but like, how many times am I gonna watch Vivid Voltage box break or something? Just something like small. So it was like super saturated at the time, and all the Pokemon content pretty much the same. It's been the same for I guess like ever. That's all the content. There's like the news, TCG, box breaks, like people breaking open stuff, and then but no one's doing like this, like wheeling and dealing, negotiating, and I just thought that's something I really would like to see, something I think I'm good at. Um, and again, there's a, it's like one of the, it's kind of like a principle where like if you can be the first in a niche kind of, then like that's a huge advantage to you.
Yeah.
So I was like, I remember hitting like upload. I was like, oh, it's uploaded. And then it was like, oh, people are actually kind of watching it. It's not like at 0 views for, a week. So I knew, I was hoping people would enjoy it like I enjoyed it. And turns out people do enjoy it because now
Yeah.
I would say now it's a very cool thing to see like the effect. Um, when I first started, people were like, dude, are you crazy? Like, what are you, like, people would stare at me like, what are you talking to as I like talk to the camera and stuff. And I'm like,
Yeah.
no, no. But now you go to Collecticon, you'll see tons of people recording themselves. There's a lot of vendor POVs now. So I think it's cool. And I always encourage other people to do it because it's not like or when people, I was kind of like, growing and growing. People like, oh, dude, they're copying. Like, did you see this channel? He's copying what you're doing. And it's like, dude, it's not a competition in the YouTube space. Like, it's great that other people are doing it too, because like let's say like for example Coop, he blew up. That made the whole kind of like vendor POV kind of thing because I think everyone uses vendor POV now, which is even better. So you use the vendor POV, you grow kind of like everyone knows what a vendor POV is now, right? So you search up vendor POV, who's gonna pop up? Me. So it helps me grow too. If other people, let's say Coop has his 500,000 subscribers, if 10% of his viewers stumble upon my content and like it, that makes me grow too. So
Yeah.
there's no competition. People can watch his video. They can watch my video. They can go watch Pack Battle's video. They can go watch it. And you can watch all the videos. Um, so I think it's great for more people to keep doing it, um, and
One of
kind
the
of grow
great things about video content versus live streaming. Live streaming, there is the
live.
competitiveness because person can only really watch you or somebody else at the same time. YouTube stuff is like you can watch 20 videos in a day or whatever and you can
Exactly.
do it the next day and
At
so
all. Yeah, people rewatch it, but yeah, I think the main question was like it was just a breath of fresh air. I think it's the first time that the Pokemon space, I mean, in my opinion, because I'm very new, has had something new to watch, kind of. And it's very helpful because, like, it actually, like, people message me all the time. I haven't even done the guide on it. They said that, they can learn from what I buy, how much I pay, what I sell, trade at, all that. Like, people learn a lot, how I negotiate, and stuff like that. I get it's really nice to see, but they'll email me or message me like, dude, your videos help me out, or like I'm about to start my first thingy. Can you help me with the equipment? Or like, oh, you really helped me out. I just had a successful last show. I used all your thingies. So it's like it. I think it's helpful and new. So it's kind of like a double whammy for people.
And the advice or the content is coming from someone who's actually doing the thing. There's a lot of
Yeah.
people who will tell you to buy stuff or all that stuff, and you don't even know if they own it themselves or if they're following their own
Actually,
advice.
yeah.
So
That
you're
is full time.
actually doing it. They're seeing you do it in the moment. So I think that that helps people. And once they have their first show or once they do their first vendor POV video, then they can relate to you even more on how either difficult it is or how frustrating a certain interaction was, or they can be like, "Yep, I completely understand what he goes through now," and it gives another dimension to that viewing experience. So as it becomes more popular and saturated, I know you said that you want as many people to do it, but do you think there will become a point where everyone's at a similar level of like content quality, and then how does vendor POV continue to evolve or make itself unique or stand out amongst so many people doing it?
Yeah, I guess that was a good question. To be fair, I think luckily and hopefully, I think for me at least, I will at least be relevant in the vendor POV. So I don't. That's not something I think about too much because I'm pretty confident I'll still be like relevant in it. But I do understand it is definitely becoming more saturated, as you say. So for new people, it's a lot harder for you to stand out, I guess. And there are some like I do watch other people to, because I can always learn too. Like people have some crazy good edited videos, or like they do really nice big deals. So I think there is no real way to, like, if you're brand new, like the reality is, I mean, you can't hire an editor better than these, companies. There's some like Clover, they're a company. They have like paid editors, they have like a whole group, but they have like a team. So their videos like really nice. They're doing major big deals. So it's very entertaining to watch. You sitting at home with, $3,000, you're not going to be able to match the content in and of itself, the production quality. So it's kind of like a thief is a comparison of joy. Like you shouldn't really focus on it. Like again, like when I started, it wasn't about the views. It's more so just about learning, growing, sharing your journey, and then people will want to watch. People that care will stay and watch you. Like, oh, dude, I remember you were at 3K last year. Now you're at 10K. Congrats, man. Like, oh, you're a really nice guy. I think you could definitely stand out. Like Coops, um, kind of stand out was that he like gives away cards. I think like Eric's standout. He does like pack battles, I guess. My standout. Well, I guess I don't really stand out. I was kind of just like, the first one. Um who like Clover might do like really big deals. There's like different ways to stand out, um or to like change it up where it's like makes it more interesting. I do think though, like I don't think there's a point where it matters. Like I think people will still watch it regardless because they're just trying to live vicariously. Like, oh, I couldn't go to Collecticon. Let me see what it was like. Let me go
Yeah.
watch Bulbasaur. See what deals he did. Let me go watch blah 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 and see what they did. So I think it's more of like an experience thing. Just keeping up, seeing people like watching the market. Like I can go watch a Pawn Stars video from 15 years ago. The price of gold might be double what it is now, but I don't care. It's still a cool card back then, right? So I think if you can do more niche stuff, I think it is harder for people. So like going like you want to see cool items, right? You don't want to see
Yeah.
Hidden Fates Gardevoir Raw that's like $15 being sold. In my opinion, that's just what I think. And you can't just keep doing that. So I do think there's like a ceiling of you're gonna have to buy. Your trades and deals are gonna have to be more interesting. You're gonna have to have some kind of gimmick, like giving away cards or coin flips. Like coin flips. Just something to stand out because it's the new thing in town, vendor POVs, but it can't always be the new thing. There might be something else in the future. I think like me personally, trying to do bonus stuff too. Like I do the buyer POVs because again, I go do that anyways before and after the shows. Might as well
Yeah.
record it. Now I have an extra person that I can do it. I'm doing like guides and stuff. I do box openings where, but that are a little more unique, like the poncho ones where I go grade them. I'll have like just like activities and stuff, streams. I think if you can mix in streams too, it's a lot of fun interacting with your community.
Yeah.
Um, but just a whole wide variety. I mean, there's no one glove to fit it all. And like I guess we do like I would focus on shorts too. Like you pop off on like short form content. Not a lot of people have the time to sit through a 40-minute video, but a lot of people have time to watch a 1 minute short that'll go
Yeah.
viral. So I would say you got to dominate like the shorts game, I would say, in order to grow at least. But to be fair, it doesn't always transfer. I think I have a good balance in like subscribers to viewers to shorts to thingy. So, very happy with where I'm at. And just keep going along. And again, you shouldn't like compare to other people. Like if there's people with 1,000 subscribers, but if you get 1,000 views, that's pretty good. You know what I mean? So I think it's just kind of go at your own pace. It's a competition, but I mean, not really. It's with
Yeah.
yourself.
Last thing I have before we call it, I want to talk about merch because
Yeah.
I think it's one of the most fascinating parts of your business and stuff. Because when you go to a Collecticon, everyone's wearing a Bulbastore shirt. Like every time you turn around, somebody's wearing your shirt. Where did that idea come from that you wanted to bring merch as such a, because people can sell shirts or whatever, but this is such like a core component of your business and like marketing. I feel like where did the idea come from?
Yeah. So
And
I
did it start
actually
like that, or was it more of just like I'm just gonna bring shirts, and
no,
then
no,
it
no.
turned into it?
It
Or
was completely on accident. I mean, it was intentional when I thought of it, but I had the shirt and I really like Bulbasaur. I was like, I need the Bulbasaur shirt. So I have it, and the only place you can really wear that shirt is the collect like cons, conventions and stuff, or like you go to a festival or something. But you're not going to Target wearing the shirt. I mean, you can if you want, but it's not like normal. Um, but so I was like, all right, gonna wear my cool shirt, and I wore it to every show I went to, just because I was like, oh, this is my, I guess it's like Halloween, I just get to like, hey, I get to show everyone I'm a Bulbasaur fan.
yeah,
So I wore it at the show when I went to Orlando as a buyer, just walking around. I wear it at all the shows I went to as a vendor. And then eventually people were like, hey, that's a nice shirt. Do you sell it? I'm like, oh, no, I don't. And then the next show, hey, that's a nice shirt, man. Do you sell it? No, I don't. And then the third show, like, hey, dude, really nice shirt. Do you sell it? I'm like, no. And then, I'm like, all right, this is a business idea. Like, I should just
yeah,
start selling the shirts. So then I brought it. Um, and to be fair, when I first started, people would buy it. But I might have sold like 5 shirts on my first show. And the next show, maybe 10 shirts at their show. But it was kind of in tandem, I would say, with YouTube because it's more of like in hindsight, genius branding. Like you see it now. It's like, oh, Bulbastore. It's like kind of I could have been wearing anything. And it's a lot harder to recognize. But now you see that it is pretty synonymous. It's like, hey, that's me.
yeah,
But again, it was not intentional. It was just kind of serendipitous. I just eventually, as I grew, more people watched me. It's kind of like my merch now, or I mean, it
yeah,
is my merch. So, people want to come by, do a deal, grab a shirt. Hey, I did a deal at the Bulbastore and rocking the shirt for the Collecticon. Some people, I remember the Kansas City, this year had it from last year. It's like, hey, I remember last year, and now you look at you, you're on YouTube. I was like, hey, thanks, I appreciate you, blah blah blah. So yeah, very serendipitous. And now it's like it scales with as I grow.
yeah,
As I'm bigger now, I sell more shirts. And so it definitely, I mean, I think it's a great design. That's why I wore it, and that's why I sell it. I think other people get joy knowing it's a cool looking shirt. It's supporting me.
yeah,
You get it from me. It's a whole like experience. It's like you go to the One Piece cafe, you get the One Piece shirt. You go to Disneyland, you get the Mickey Mouse hat. It's just kind of like a um, You go there, you buy, it's an experience.
And it's a cool little extra thing that you can throw on top of deals too. I've seen you do that, I think, a couple times in videos where it's like the guy will be like, "Yeah, can I get? Yeah, I'll do that, but I want a shirt," something like that. So yeah, that's pretty cool. You're really the only person in the Pokemon YouTube space, I feel like, that is utilizing merch in that way for like a advertisement or probably sells as much merch. I don't see PokeRev t-shirts, walking around, or Cool Trainer Ryan t-shirts walking around. I see Bulbastore shirts
Hey,
walking around
to be
Collecticon.
fair
So
though, you walk around now, there are so many other people selling like button down graphic shirt. There'll be like a Gengar one. I've seen like a Doodle one where it's all so it's pretty cool. Now that one's technically competition, but I don't really care. Like it's all in good fun. Like I know I'm gonna sell my shirts anyways. It doesn't
yeah.
matter if they buy your shirt too. But I do think I think it's really I'm not like I think it's really cool to see kind of like, oh dude, like I kind of inspired you to do that. Like you'll see people that do similar thumbnails. You'll see people similar. I mean, everyone took the vendor POV, which is awesome on it in and of itself. It makes it very streamlined. I wanted people to do it so um, you type in vendor POV, only Pokemon content like shows up. Like it's all just this. And beforehand, because I was looking for stuff where if you Google it, you won't find it. Before, you wouldn't see anything if you typed in vendor POV. It's like that's not a real a thing. So now you look it up, it's all what it is today. So I kind of just want everyone to be on the same page, and it's cool just to see everyone kind of following the same path. Now, hopefully, there's more people out there that stray from the path and then make it even better.
Yeah.
So again, that just comes with time, and who knows? There might be another person that goes super viral for some reason.
All right. Well, most of you guys already know Bulbasaur, but if you don't, you should definitely check out his channel. Make sure to subscribe and support his stuff. I got to meet you in Charlotte. Super nice guy. Definitely, if you're at any of the Collecticons, you should stop by his booth and see what he's got. Because I'm sure he'd like to do a deal with you. Is there any other places or shout outs you want to do before we
Uh,
close out?
no, I would say if you're watching, thank you guys for coming by. Hopefully, you guys enjoyed. It was a very nice interview. Loved great questions too. Some questions I've never been asked before. And yeah, I would say if you ever have any interest in also doing vendor POVs yourself, go ahead and do your own local shows. Doesn't hurt to try it out. Worst at worst, it doesn't go well for you. But a lot of people are afraid to take that first step. I know I was when I first did it. I didn't know anything about vendors. I didn't know anything about YouTube. So just if you're thinking about it, just do it, and you can always live with it if it doesn't work out. But then you don't want to live with that regret of you, like, what if I did that? So that's what I would end it off with.
Awesome. All right. Well, thank you for joining me for this chat. I really appreciate it, man.